Hey, you guys. So I have been listening to this amazing audio narration of this book, and I want to share it with you guys before we dive in and have a conversation about it. So let's listen to it, and then we're going to talk about it, you guys. So here we go.
Prologue. Saturday night in Puerto Rico. In the corner of the dimly lit San Juan drinking establishment, Julian Lafleur's eyes widened as he read the caption on the breaking news story on the giant television screen. Authorities seize a private plane at Luis Munoz Marin International Airport, connected to a possible human smuggling operation. More to follow. Crap, Julian growled, tugging Ryu's sleeve. He inclined his chin so his bodyguard would read the screen. Let's go, now, he hissed, looking around at the bored bartender smoking at the far end of the bar, and the local drunk slumped over his latest drink. He placed a few bills on the table as Ryu powered down their laptop. They quietly exited and then rushed to the car. You drive, Julian snarled, getting into the passenger seat. What a mess. I've lost the girls. Head toward the hottest teens hangout. Ryu nodded and maneuvered the Tahoe to the side of the downtown area where kids hung out. What are you thinking, boss? First, you'll stop when I tell you to. Then you'll find an old vehicle you can hotwire on the poor side of town. Switch its plates with another vehicle at least a block away. Tomorrow is Sunday, so folks will stay home to rest. Then come pick me up, and we'll head to the other side of the island. Yes, I can do that. I hate to leave you alone. Ryu drove for a few minutes toward the newer side of town.
Oh my gosh, you guys, like what? Oh my gosh. So, the voice behind this book narration is no other than Derek Shoales, and the authors of these books is Rox and Charles. You guys know and have met them before. So, Derek, welcome. Holy crap, your audiobook just gave me chills, man. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
I love it. So tell us what it was like doing the audiobook for this book of Rox and Charles. I know that you guys have been working together for a
Oh, yeah.
long time. So
Yeah.
what was your experience like on this one? I feel like every book is different for you. So tell us what this book's journey was for you.
Yeah, I mean, every book is a little bit different, but since they're in the same universe, there's at least some familiarity between each one. So it's kind of like putting on like an old pair of comfortable clothes for me. Like the characters I know from previous ones, I'm like, I don't have to come up with all these crazy new characters. Makes it easier. Um, but yeah, it was fun to get the script and read through it. And I'm like, oh, here we go. We're gonna finally figure out what happens with this guy who was from the the last one. I managed to just slip away. I'm like, there we go. So I was excited to get going on it, and yeah, it was interesting to kind of pick it up. And then there were still a few like new accents, but overall, it was fun to work on it.
I love it. The fun really comes out in your voice and just the different accents that you do. And I mean, I felt like I was there in that car. So I just thoroughly enjoyed it. But Rox, Charles, tell us what it was like when you got, the sample back from Derek about for the audiobook and everything. I can only imagine what that experience is like.
Okay, I have to tell you guys, every time we submit a manuscript to Derek, and we get a nice chunk back, it's popcorn night for us. It's like, oh my God, we have to sit down, get our favorite adult beverage, power down the popcorn. Like, oh, that was great. No, did we write that? No kidding. Okay, that's fine. And so we have this. It's hard to explain. We know what's happening. We've written it. We've worked on it for 6 months, the two of us back and forth, and yet it is so unique when we get Derek's voice applied to it. The media becomes alive. Rox?
Yeah, that's true. It does. It's a dimension that you don't get unless you have the audio. I mean, so we write pretty well and we are pretty descriptive and we have good conversation and all of that. But the flair that Derek adds just makes it like a movie playing in my head. And other people have said that as well. So I'm seeing everything. Everything is so unique. He's truly a voice actor, not just a narrator.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Like I said, I felt like I was there watching this whole conversation go down. I could feel the emotions and then the accents, and it was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Right. And so I feel like audiobooks do that, but I feel like your voice just is, I don't know. I want to say it just makes us dive deeper into the story because you just make it come to life. I don't know. You're just freaking great at it. And I don't know what else to, to say to it. But I am curious as to, when you dive into it, and you're reading the book and then you're like, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. And you start doing, the voice work for it. What is that like initial beginning process like for you? Do you have to like redo all the time, or you just read it and you're like, okay, I got it. This is the accent for this character.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to do it. What is that like for you?
So what's the prep work kind of like? Okay, yeah. It's thankfully it's a standard process I've gotten over the years doing. But usually when I get any manuscript, whether it's Charles, Rox's, or anything from the publishers, the first thing I do is I open up a spreadsheet because I have a character spreadsheet template that I have, and then I just start reading. And as characters pop up, I'll start writing them into the spreadsheet, or at least a new tab for them, and then look for any descriptive items in the book that tell me about them. Often, like in the case of Julien Lafleur, obviously, I mean, the name sounds French, but he might not be from France. He might be a character that's from Switzerland or some other country and has an accent from that. But because Charles and Rox mention in the book and even in kind of the notes that has a French accent and becomes heavier as he gets angry, I'm able to include that in the notes so that I remember that every time I get to the character and I see the situation he's in, I can take that into consideration and make sure that the voice and the accent matches the tone of the scene itself. And so obviously I have to record whether that's what their gender is to make sure that I can pitch my voice correctly. So I'm looking for all those little bits, and even like body type, because that impacts the way a person's voice sounds. Like a heavier set person is typically going to have a little more resonance in the chest. Not all the time, but more often than not. So I'm recording that stuff as I'm reading, and then I can start going into recording the book.
I've always found it interesting that you have to record some sections more than one time, right? I mean, it's not just a recording you're once and done.
No. Well, I mean, it'd be nice if that was the case, but I think the longest I've ever gone without making a mistake was 3.5 minutes in the recording before I finally I heard it. And that's a lot of times why I also have a proofer too. Like I'm, for you guys, obviously I have a team that I go to see who's available. The publishers have their own team and I'm fine with that. But I try to catch it as I go along because it's one less thing I'm going to get a pickup back to say, hey, you messed this up. You got to re-record it. Because then I have to not only, if I get one of those back, I have to then look to see, and if I'm lucky, it's not dialogue. If it's dialogue, now all of a sudden I have to remember, how did I pitch that character? What's the tone? And usually I'll get a recording also back of the moment so that I can kind of figure out what I was doing at that time to kind of match that. But there are other times where I'm like, oh, that didn't sound right, and that can kind of fix it. But yeah, it's constantly what's called punching and rolling, where I put it at the beginning of the sentence, and then it gives me 3 seconds of playback to lead me into it, and then the recording starts, and now I'm picking right back up where I was going to fix it and keep on going.
Good polishing effort on the stories, and I'm always curious because we do this game with Derek all the time. We ask, okay, what chapter did you have trouble recording? Because you got cracked up before you got halfway through it.
Yeah. Like in this book, it wasn't until the end where it really got to me, where it was like what happens to him at the end of the book, because I wasn't expecting it. And even if I had read it, it's one thing when you actually kind of pre-read the book and you're kind of like, I'm in a very professional mode at that point. I'm just analyzing, looking for stuff. I'm not really paying attention to the moments as they happen, but when I'm narrating, now I'm in the characters and I'm trying to bring out like the emotion of the character in that moment. You get to that sense of like that release for the characters, and it's like, oh crap. It's like, holy cow. Like there was another book I did a long time, like maybe a year or two ago, where a man who was a father was about to die, and it was like I had to encapsulate that in the performance too. That got to me. But usually with you guys, I can't predict when that's going to happen. Is it going to be in the beginning or the middle or the end? And it always seems like it's a little different spot where it kind of gets me up.
So they keep you on your toes. That's what I'm hearing, is they keep
Yeah,
you on their
exactly.
toes and guessing. And I
Yep.
love that. But obviously, there is so much that goes into creating an audiobook that I didn't even think of. So you guys are going to have to come back for part 2, because Derek and I are going to dive headfirst into full-on production of an audiobook. So make sure that you come back, and we'll see you all over on part 2. Bye for now, everybody.